Hey guys, welcome back to Karmic Central. So, if you're new here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, but also start with day 0. That is the foundation, okay? That's what this video is going to be about. This is day 0, the foundation of the Nancy Guthrie case, okay? So, before any conclusions, before speculation, before any of the headlines came out, okay, we're going to try to construct what should be the earliest events with documented timestamps, confirmed reporting, and key investigative milestones. So, if you want to understand how this situation may have unfolded before everything changed, this is going to be the place to start. Okay. Now, Nancy Guthrie, our last confirmed sighting of her was on January 31st. And she was seen on the evening of January 31st at her home in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood near Tucson, Arizona. Now, as I go along, I've written some things down. I've tried to keep it more focused on what is confirmed, but there is a lot of like unconfirmed, unofficially reported timelines. I might get into that at some point, hopefully very soon once we get some more details. But so far, according to these multiple reports, she was dropped off at her house by her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni. Now, after dinner with family, which is approximately supposed to be around like 9:50 p.m. local time, which would be Arizona Mountain Time. Okay, this is the last confirmed visual sighting on record. Now, I kind of want to pull as I go along because I do feel like that 9:50 for dinner has changed from dinner at 6. I think I heard dinner at 7. That is a large discrepancy. This may be a part of what came out in the reading I just posted about the alibis and timelines. Somebody said something about their whereabouts or their timeline that was actually incorrect. Okay, so last confirmed sighting, we have corrupt official that flew out, heart attack triggered by stress or poison, in a 911 call that is outgoing. Okay, we also have I fought back. That's Nancy's energy. She's talking about what happened. So it does feel like this could have been okay. High profile arrest is here. So we are closing in. It does feel like we're closing in, but let's stay focused. Now we have February 1st. This is a critical early morning window because this is when we get the report. Sometime after arriving like home late that night, Nancy did not attend a scheduled church event. We all know the church service the next morning that everybody kept talking about. Relatives became concerned and they checked her home around 11 a.m. Okay, so she was reported missing to the Pima County Sheriff's Department around noon. So there is a large gap of time. The people who saw her get dropped off late may have seen something else. Now, addicted to control is here. All right, let's move on. Let's get into these crime scene indicators because investigators kind of treated her residence as a crime scene. Or they didn't treat it as carefully, but they did treat it as a crime scene for the most part. Droplets of blood were found and said to match Nancy's DNA. Now, I honestly feel like that may be slightly altered or tweaked information. Surveillance and digital evidence indicated that her front door camera was tampered with or disabled in the early hours of February 1st. Okay. The exact time I think is like 1 something. Okay. I wrote that down in another thing, but I just have so many different notes because some of these things are not confirmed. So it's hard to say what is confirmed and how would someone know these exact times if officials don't say it. So again, bear with me. Plug and play. Let me know in the comments exactly if you've heard anything else. Now for February 3rd to the 7th, this is when we have like an uptake in some of the headlines and information. This is when the ransom communications started and we had like this expanded kind of search. Okay. So during this early phase, there were notes or communications interpreted as ransom demands and were received by at least one local news outlet. Now we know that it happened to be two Arizona local news networks and then TMZ. On February 6th, authorities towed a blue SUV from Nancy's home and removed forensic evidence, including a camera from the roof, part of ongoing analysis. Now, if you go back, I did touch on this. I think I started my readings around like day 7 or 8. So there were things that got covered, but in other videos. Now that we have this blue SUV, I don't think I knew that detail about the car being blue and it being SUV. I think I assumed it was like a car, not a truck. So searches at the family residence, including the home of Nancy's daughter Annie, which we've been hearing a lot of, were conducted with law enforcement's presence. Okay. Now we had February 8th to the 9th, there was like nationwide attention. So all the public appeal videos were released by the family members, including Savannah, urging anyone with information to step forward. Now, authorities reiterated that they had not identified suspects at the time and that evidence suggested foul play. So again, a lot happens during this time of day. I'm gonna, in the next video, dealing with the timeline, which I'll do at a later point. Again, I keep trying to say that I want to wait until I get official things, even though I know some other details have somewhat been confirmed. Now, on I think it was February 10th through the 11th. This is when we got like a visual lead, right? And detention. So that was between yesterday and today. On February 10th, yesterday, a surveillance video was released showing a masked armed individual on Nancy's porch at the time of her disappearance. Something about this feels like this could be more so like an afterthought. I don't know why it feels like a cleanup. It doesn't feel like this was the moment. But it could be, and I'm just misinterpreting what I am seeing. Okay. Now, later on today, law enforcement reportedly, well, this was early morning today. Law enforcement had reportedly detained a person for questioning. That person was released. This happened south of Tucson and in Rio Rico. We know this. Authorities have not publicly confirmed whether that person had been charged, but they've been released. And they weren't formally identified as a suspect. This is Carlos. I forget his last name, but he was released and questioned for 8 hours and whatever. Okay. So with that being said, that is day 0. Okay. Through the first major developments in the Nancy Guthrie case. Now, this video isn't necessarily conjecture, it's documented movement. Okay. Time code by time code. In future videos on the timeline, I'm going to layer in some possible motive patterns and behavior analysis again, and see if there could be any investigative interpretation that I could make at the moment. But that's when I get a little bit more info. So, but for the most part, you must see the timeline first to understand how everything else unfolds. That's kind of why I feel the need to go back. Now, there were some cards that did come out. We have a missing time block. There is some type of therapist or confidant here. Gunshot residue present. Guilty justice served. My body tells the truth. The seeker. Dual personality or hidden self. My spirit won't rest. Okay. All right, Nancy. Okay, so there's a lot of, I told you that these last 2-3 days have been really difficult because she has been coming out very strongly. And I think it's because it's like there is a sense of urgency to finding her. It's not just the sense of urgency that I'm feeling from the investigation itself. It's like her. Something about her body is significant. Hidden camera used is back out here again. Official declaration of death. So the hidden camera Official declaration of death. So maybe something was captured on camera that they didn't think would be captured on camera. Like maybe the ring light kept going. Okay, that's very interesting. All right, so that is a little recap. I hope that kind of helped a little bit. We do have like these little missing time gaps. We know certain things happened when the cameras were confiscated. We know that the garage door opened at a specific time. We know that the ring has a certain date and time on that. We also know that her app for her heart monitoring system was working to a point, then lost signal. So that time is kind of up in the air as well. So that's another reason why I'm not like really breaking down those times, even though some of those time marks, the number and the angel numbers connected to it, I am curious about it. Some of them stood out more than others. Okay, but again, I will leave that more for, I think, the video where I do the gematria, and I'll link it to some more timeline specifics because of the timing, and we'll analyze some of that stuff. Okay, so I love you. I hope this was the informative update that you were looking for. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you are new, because we are going to continue to post readings on the development of this story. This is a little series that I'm trying to complete tonight, and then we'll do filler pocket videos in between as things fill up. But I do want to get into my next series that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the crime case that we have right now. But I do want to get that up and running. All right. I love you guys. Bye.